Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 5:01 p.m., so we'll get moving along. And as we begin, I'll ask everyone to please silence cell phones and other electronic devices. And a reminder that procedural bylaw prescribes the use of technology during council meetings. It is 5:01 p.m. I'll call this council meeting to order. And as I do, I'll begin with this acknowledgement that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Mississauga and the Anishinaabe. This land holds significant historical, cultural, and spiritual importance for the Mississauga nations, who are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters. We recognize and respect the enduring connection that the Mississauga and Anishinaabe, now of Alderville, have to this land and these waters, and express our gratitude for their stewardship over the generations. As we discuss matters of importance at this council meeting, we commit ourselves to fostering a spirit of reconciliation and partnership with Indigenous neighbors and all Indigenous peoples. And may we strive for understanding, respect, and collaboration as we work together to build a more inclusive and just community. We begin with a motion to amend the agenda moved by Councillor Rowley, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that Council amend the September 2nd, 2025 Council agenda to add an item to the closed session agenda pursuant to the Ontario Municipal Act, subsection 239(2)C, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, trial discussions. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? There being none opposed, that motion is carried. I should note that Councillor Wright has sent regrets. She is going to try to zoom in, but that seems to be in doubt at this point. Members of council, have you, oh, no, sorry. A motion moved by Councillor Rowley and seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson that council approve the September 2nd, 2025 council agenda as amended. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Are there any opposed? That motion's carried. Thank you. Members of council, have you any declarations of pecuniary interest? And if so, please state the general nature thereof. And there are none noted. That leads us to a motion to proceed into closed session moved by Councillor Rowley, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that council resolve itself into closed session September 2nd, 2025 at 5:04 p.m. Pursuant to the Ontario Municipal Act, RSO 2001 as amended, subsection 239(2)B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, a human resources matter. C, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, trial discussions. And F, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, legal advice regarding an agreement. Is there any discussion? All in favor? There being none opposed, that motion is carried. session September 2nd, 2025 at 6:11 PM. Is there any discussion? All in favor? There being none opposed, that motion's carried. It's 6:11 PM. This council stands adjourned and not adjourned. This council stands in recess until 6:30. I'm ready. You're good? Okay, good evening, everyone. I'll call this meeting back to order at 6:30 PM. I will note that we began the meeting at 5. I provided a territorial land acknowledgement. We approved our agenda with an addition to something in the closed session. And yeah. And then we rose and reported. Council met in closed session to consider matters. It is permitted to do so under the Municipal Act and is listed on today's council agenda and the closed session resolution. The following items were considered during the closed session and may require motions as necessary. Pardon me. Item 1 was the approval of the closed session meeting minutes for August 11th. This was a procedural motion to adopt the minutes, which was voted on in closed session, and therefore remains nothing to be done in public session. Item 2 was pursuant to this section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act. Council received and discussed personal matters about an identifiable individual, specifically a human resources matter. Item 3 was pursuant to section 239(2)F of the Municipal Act. Council received advice subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. It was legal advice regarding an agreement. Item 4 was pursuant to section 239(2)C, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. This was a discussion about a trial. And I do have a motion in front of me for those purposes. It's moved by Councillor Butwell, seconded by Councillor McCausland. The council approved the confidential instructions provided to staff regarding the human resources matter and the legal advice regarding an agreement, and the litigation matter, a trial discussion. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? There being none opposed, that motion is carried. That brings us to announcements. Members of council, have you any announcements this evening? I do have a few. Councillor Rowley.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I would like to remind council that in the month of September here in the county, it's Fight Against Hunger, 30 ways in 30 days to kind of help support those with food insecurities. And of course, all helps out with the food bank. My second announcement is we are finished with our Concerts in the Park series this year. Thank you to the Community Events Committee with both Councillor McCausland and I sit on that committee, and both the Sunny Days and the food bank this year benefited by $7,500.
Nice. Well done. The concerts were great, by the way, this year. The ones I could attend were also very well attended. It was nice to see. I think Chairman Lloyd suggests we had record numbers, and I think he's probably right. Yeah. Any other announcements? I would like to point out that the twinning agreement that I signed with Mayor Delahaye of Annecy, France, is up in the council chambers. A similar twinning agreement is posted at the Annecy Municipal Hall as well, right beside a painting of a lighthouse that we gifted to our friends in Annecy. So I am hoping to provide council with a presentation of my time in Annecy at some point in the near future. Also, and sadly, Wayne Newman, a 27-year veteran of the Brighton Fire Department, passed away on August 18th. Captain Newman was instrumental in helping to establish Station 2 in Codrington. A service will be held at the Legion this coming Saturday, September 6th at 1 o'clock, and the Brighton Fire Department will parade from Station 1 to the Legion in advance of the service. My condolences go out to Wayne's family, and we thank him for his service to the community and for all he did for Brighton. I would ask council that we take a moment of silence in memory of Wayne. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes. It's moved by Councillor Wheeldon, seconded by Councillor McCausland, that Council adopt the August 11th, 2025 Council meeting minutes as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That motion is carried. We have no statutory public meeting this evening. There's no delegations or presentations listed on the agenda. Madam Clerk, are there any citizens' comments? No, there are not. Thank you. Brings us to staff reports. The first report is visual identity refresh finding updates. Manager Hagerman, we've read your report. Do you have anything to add or highlight?
To the mayor and council, I just got one little thing to add. I just want to first and foremost thank the Blondes Branding and Design for all the work they've done so far, and for being here on Zoom tonight. So if they have any questions, that can be directed to them. I'd also like to thank our subcommittee, which was made up of folks from our Economic Development Advisory Committee, for helping me push this along, Laura Connect and Wayne Jefferson, as well as my team in Economic Development. And I'd also like to thank Mayor and Council for your support in this project. Your openness to innovation and progressive approach has allowed us to move forward with this project. It's true, rebranding is one of the most powerful ways that a municipality can signal growth, progress, and renewed energy. The result of this rebrand will help create a clear and unified identity that resonates with both residents and visitors, while positioning the community for future opportunities in areas such as business investment, talent acquisition, tourism, and economic activity. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hagerman. I have a motion moved by Councillor Butwell, seconded by Councillor McCausland, that Council review the findings and appendices and receive this report as an update to the visual identity refresh process. Questions or comments from members of Council? Councillor McCausland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. No question, just a comment. Just nice to see the turnout of the responses that we got from this. It was really nice to see that. It was a pretty big number.
Thank you for that. Indeed, it was. Next steps, Mr. Hagerman.
Yeah, to Mayor and Council. So tonight, as long as Council receives the report without any issue, we will then trigger the next component of the project, which will be our consulting firm working on the design. And they will offer staff by, I believe, a date of September 19th, 3 to 5 concepts. Staff will evaluate those concepts and bring council a few of those that we believe could be the one, and we will let council deliberate from there.
Thank you for that. And just as a reminder, there's no want to change all the logos throughout the community. That will happen as things need refreshing. When we buy a new truck, the new logo will go on it, but we won't be changing logos on existing vehicles or street signs. We're not going down that road or that expense. Is my understanding correct, Mr. Hagerman? As of today?
To the mayor, I think that's going to be a step-by-step approach. Each department, will be in charge of budgeting those replacements accordingly. So, I would like, I have no idea how old our entrance signs are, and some of our wayfinding signs are. There's some funding available this fall. One of my projects over the next couple of weeks is to get a funding application in for wayfinding signage that would help with those costs to update those signs. But certainly, it's not going to happen in one budget cycle. This is going to be rolled out over, like you say, several phases.
Thank you for that. Any further comments or questions from members of council? All in favor? There being none opposed, that motion is carried. Next report is Asset Management Plan 2025 Levels of Service Report Update. Manager Gooding, welcome, and see you sneak in. We've read your report. Do you have anything to add or highlight?
Through the mayor, no, I do not.
You. Have a motion moved by Councillor Rowley, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that council approve the 2025 of Service Update Report as an addendum to the 2022 Corporate Asset Management Plan. Is there any discussion? Councillor Wheeldon?
Just a question, if I may. I have heard that we are going to be required to include natural assets in our asset management plan. Do we have a plan for when that will happen?
Manager Gooding?
Through the mayor is that would happen in 2027. So we do have our tree canopy captured. It's just other assets being like our managed wetland and whatnot. We have to get the financial information for that to compile it.
Thank you both. Any other questions? Councillor Butwell?
Thank you through you, Mr. Mayor, to Mr. Gooding. So a couple of the life cycle and financial strategy subsections indicated in addressing the funding gaps, an option or not an option, but looking to internal staff to do these things internally, such as surveys, preparation, that kind of thing. Is our current staffing complement sufficient to take on those additional roles? Because I'm constantly hearing that we have staff that feels like they're just constantly throwing balls in the air. I'm just going to ask, do we have the sufficient staff and sufficient staff time to bring these things in-house as a way to address those funding gaps?
Manager Gooding?
So some stuff we can do in-house, some stuff we can't. So what we can do, we do. And I would say I'd always take more staff, but I mean, right now we are managing our capital projects with our own staff doing inspection and whatnot. And I would say for at least for engineering, I can't speak on other departments. Yes, we're fully staffed to handle this stuff in-house.
Follow up?
Yes, follow up. So are the department heads, they know that if they get to a point where they feel they can't have, they should be asking through the budget process to increase their budgets to accommodate either bringing someone in temporarily, or perhaps there's already enough work that maybe an additional complement might be, I know what ends up happening is our staff's being asked to do more with less. And I think that really speaks to the workplace culture as well, that people don't leave because they're not getting paid enough. People leave, they just want to be appreciated. So when I see that as one of the solutions to bridge that gap, I just want to make sure that we're taking care of the people that we have. So more so a commentary.
Director Lennon?
Criticism.
Through the mayor. So yeah, in the process of developing this amendment, Manager Gooding did meet with the other department heads, managers, supervisors to have those discussions. Part of the value in the asset management plan is to give us a roadmap on prioritizing these projects, which really gives us an opportunity to look at what can we handle with our current staff levels, and looking into the future, what resources we may need should council approve certain major projects or the ongoing management of the assets. So yeah, we do actively talk about our resources. We do look at what we can handle and not to try to do too much, but do more with more kind of. But at this point in time, we are managing with the resources we have. Recently, we had approval to add a supervisor in Parks Recs, and that's a big part of the asset management planning for that department. So yeah, we are actively looking at that, and where we need to, we'll ask for the resources, or at least come to council with what the plan is with the resources we have.
Thank you both. Anything further from members of council? All in favor? There being none opposed, that motion's carried. The next report is Policy updates. Deputy Clerk, we've read your report. Do you have anything to add or highlight?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing at this time.
Thank you. I have a motion moved by Councillor Rowley, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that council adopt the updated workplace violence policy and the workplace harassment policy, and that council receive the updated customer service procedure, the public feedback procedure, and the integrated accessibility standards policy as information. Is there any discussion? Councillor Wheeldon?
I just want to thank our staff. I know this is difficult work. I've done it before. Updating policies can be an enormous headache and take a lot of time. So thank you for the work you've put in. That's very appreciated.
Thank you for that. Anything further? All those in favor? There being none opposed, that motion is carried. The next report is the CAO ongoing report, capital projects update. CAO, we've read your report. Do you have anything to add or highlight?
No, Mr. Mayor, I do not.
Thank you. I have a motion moved by Councillor McCausland, seconded by Councillor Butwell, that council receive the CAO ongoing report and capital projects update for information. Discussion? Councillor Rowley.
Thank you, Mayor. Just because I have been asked a few times, how close are we to begin construction with our wastewater treatment plant?
CAO? Director Lennon?
Through the mayor, we have our startup meeting with our consultant and the awarded contractor later this week, Thursday morning, I believe. So that's going to be a walk of the site and then just a formal startup meeting. And at that meeting, we're expecting to receive the updated schedule from the contractor. So at that time, we'll have a clear idea on their actual start date, but they're ready to start once we kind of get through that initial process.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Director, will you share that schedule with members of council when you have it? I mean, at some point after we've done the walkthrough and whatever else you have to do in the day.
Through you, certainly in some form. I suspect it'll be a very complicated critical path schedule, but we can certainly provide the highlights.
I think if we just know when it's going to start, that's the only date I really want to know.
You got it.
Finish will be 18 months after the start date. Bolts on 18 months, right, Director?
Best efforts.
Yes. Anything further from members of council? All in favor? Any opposed? That motion is carried. There is a notice of motion listed on the agenda. It will be read as a motion at the next regular council meeting. We have nothing listed under unfinished business, which brings us to bylaws. Our only bylaw this evening is the appointment of a treasurer. With the motion moved by Councillor Butwell, and I will need a seconder, that council gives a bylaw its first, second, and third reading and finally passes on this date, being a bylaw to appoint a treasurer for the corporation of the municipality of Brighton. Is there a seconder? Councillor Wheeldon. Any discussion? Those in favor? Any opposed? That motion is carried. Brings us to reports, minutes of advisory committees of council and review teams. The first is the Intermunicipal Task Force on Housing and Homelessness, with a motion moved by Councillor McCausland, seconded by Councillor Butwell, that council receive the Intermunicipal Task Force on Housing and Homelessness meeting notes August 21st, 2025 as presented. Councillor Wheeldon.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to point out under point 2, September 25th at the Keeler Center in Colborne, there will be an event bringing together municipal staff and key staff, and I would invite all of us as well to talk about rural communal septic systems. It's called the Rural Communal Septic Systems Symposium. It's the next sort of event from the task force. And otherwise, we mostly talked about the AMO delegation, which we've already mentioned here.
Councillor Wheeldon, what time is the, I could probably just look it up, but what time is the September 25th event start?
I did not receive the invite, but it does say here that the mayors and CAOs did. So I could ask you.
And I would not know the answer. So
that's all right.
I will have to look it up.
We'll look it up and we'll get that circulated.
8 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm being told. Thank you, CAO. Anything further on this? Councillor Wheeldon, did you want to speak briefly to the AMO delegation we had with the Associate Minister?
Sure, appreciate that. There were 6 of us, I think, in that delegation. The Deputy Mayor of Coburg, Councillor from Alnwick-Haldimand, County CAO and her EA, and Mayor Ostrander and myself attended a delegation with the Associate Minister, Graydon Smith, Associate Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. I haven't been to a lot of delegations, but I did think that one, I mean, they're all like speed dating. It's really quick. You go in, you make an awkward joke, and you just got to lay it all out. And so I talked as fast as I could about what it is that we need. And what it is that we need more than anything, I think, is just the space to actually implement the changes we want to make at the lower tier level in order to get more homes built faster, which is what we're always hearing that they want us to do. But when they change the rules every 6 months, we just don't have the ability to do it. So I told them, this is the easiest and cheapest ask you're going to get all day. Please just do nothing for a little while. And I got a chuckle, which is about all I could hope for. But they did say, you have been heard.
They did indeed. And you did a very good job with your presentation, and I think it was well received. They do like to change the rules, and of course what that means is the county OP has to be put on hold again while we evaluate those rules and come into compliance with the county OP, which means our OP needs to be put on hold at the lower tier while the county deals with those. So it's a domino effect that is causing less homes to be built slower rather than the intent.
And I will say, in fairness to them, the changes that they have made, as much as they were often controversial, ultimately the changes that we want to make now are moving in the same direction. And so I don't fault them for changing the rules. A lot of rules needed to be changed. But if we want to do our part, we just need the room to do it.
And that was the message that I think Associate Minister Smith received, was we want to row together. And I think he and his staff appreciated that. So thank you. Anything further from members of council? All in favor? There being none opposed, that motion's carried. And committees of council, we have community events and civic awards and Applefest, with a motion moved by Councillor McCausland, seconded by Councillor Butwell. The council received the minutes from the following committee meetings as presented: Community Events and Civic Awards Steering Committee of July 8th, 2025, Applefest Steering Committee of July 15th, August 6th, and August 21st, 2025. Councillors Rowley and McCausland, anything to bring up with regard to community events minutes?
Nothing. As I said, we're done with the concerts for this year, and our only task now is to get ready for the Santa Claus Parade, which would be November 15th, if you want to put it on your calendar. I believe that's the third Friday. Okay, so then I've got the date wrong.
November 21st, we're hearing from the Economic Development Manager. Thank you. And Applefest, Councillor Rowley, anything to highlight there?
No, not really. We're well on our way getting the event organized, which is coming up right shortly. But no, I think we're good, right? Chief over there?
I will just point out for the gallery that Councillor Rowley is looking at the chair of our Applefest committee and asking for advice. I will note that I have quite gleefully agreed to get into a large hamster ball and race down a ramp, and I have challenged our MP and MPP to participate as well. Sadly, Minister Pecuniary is not available. But we're waiting on Mr. Lawrence, so we'll see.
Fire chief could step in.
I believe that there are challenges going out to other places as well. I was tasked with the other politicians, so that's where I went. I challenged the warden, but I guarantee you he's going to be there too, so all is good. Anything further from members of council? All in favor? Being none opposed, that motion is carried. There are no reports, minutes of statutory committees, boards, or external agencies, which brings us to correspondence. The first piece of correspondence comes from Warkworth Institution, a request for a United Way campaign and use of our arena. It's moved by Councillor Butwell, seconded by Councillor McCausland, that council receive the request from the Workworth Institution regarding waiving rental fees of King Edward Arena in support of a United Way workplace campaign on November 18th. Discussion? I would actually like to support this.
Yeah, that's me too.
You want to support it? Councillor Butwell is the mover. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with putting any motion on the floor. So if they want to do it, go for it.
So I have changed receive to support. Members of council. Councillor Wheeldon?
That was all I was going to say too. I'm in favor of supporting it.
Very well. Councillor Rowley?
Exactly. And once again, if we can just give a quick shout out to the United Way. They've just finished their big fundraiser with backpacks. And I should say in Brighton, we were lucky to receive over 20 backpacks to help those kids here in town who need things as well. So very supportive of what the United Way does. And if these dollars can help locally, all the better.
Thank you for that. Any further discussion from council? Any issue with the date that anyone's aware of? Has this been discussed by staff?
Through you, yes, staff is aware, and we, the date is fine. There's no issues with the date. Just a bit of our schedule, but the date is fine.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I will point out, we don't get a lot of requests from the institution. They do good work in our community. A lot of the folks, one of our largest employers in the community. I think a lot of people don't even know it exists. And we get pretty significant dollars from the federal government in lieu of taxes, hosting that facility in the community. So happy to see us supporting the United Way and our friends at Workworth Institution. All those in favor? There being none opposed, that motion's carried. Next item of correspondence comes from Northumberland County in support of our letter to honor the Honorable Sylvia Jones regarding the support of expanding CPSO licensing. It's moved by Councillor McCausland, seconded by Councillor Butwell, that council support the Northumberland County resolution in support of Mayor Ostrander's letter to the Honorable Sylvia Jones regarding support for expanding CPSO licensing changes to all approved jurisdiction countries. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Are there any opposed? That motion is carried. Next piece of correspondence comes from Sandra Sulam. Sandra, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Request to waive building permit penalty fees. It's moved by Councillor Rowley, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson. The council support the request for Sandra Swallam to waive building permit penalty fees in the sum of $4,000. Is there any discussion? I'm curious why we'd be supporting this. Councillor Wheeldon.
I'm a little bit uncomfortable with this because I feel like I've just got one side of the story. It sounds quite reasonable to say, oh, there was a miscommunication. I've remedied the situation. Can we avoid the penalty? And I know our staff to be quite reasonable, and so I don't know why they wouldn't have said yes if it were in fact that reasonable.
Councillor Butwell.
I believe in our closed session, we had a discussion where the solicitor used something called a stake line or whatnot, that if you're going to claim relief, that there has to be a valid reason for that relief. Like if there was a miscommunication, there was a discrepancy, something was written wrong in a letter. This was an individual property owner who used a local builder who has built a lot and somehow didn't apply for permits. So I'm not in favor of supporting this.
Thank you for that. And I just want to be clear, we did not discuss this letter or this request in closed session. That was with regard to another item that we were discussing in closed session.
Correct.
But with similar or
There was a term that was
other penalty issues.
tweaked in my
Yeah,
mind
thank you.
and it relates to this.
I just wanted to be clear that we were not discussing or took this, we did not take this into closed. Any further discussion? Councillor McCausland?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. I just want to say it is unfortunate that we do have to kind of put this on somebody, but I would not be in favor of waiving it because it is a big chunk of change.
Thank you. Anything further from members of council? All in favor? Any opposed? I'm going to do that again just for fun. All those in favor of the motion?
Do a recorded vote.
Recorded vote has been requested by Councillor Butwell. The motion right now is to support.
There we go.
Voting in Butwell,
No.
Councillor McCausland,
Sorry for the confusion. No.
Councillor Emily,
No. Let's try this. It doesn't matter. It's all of them. They flash. Councillor Emily Rowley, no. Councillor Jeff Wheeldon,
No.
Deputy Mayor John Anderson,
No.
Mayor Ryan Ostrander,
No.
defeated.
I have a motion that we receive the correspondence from Sandra Swallam. Councillor McCausland. Second. Councillor Wheeldon. Further discussion? All in favor? Being unopposed, that motion's carried. Brings us to FYI correspondence. The first is updates from Northumberland County, with a motion moved by Councillor Rowley, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that council receive the updates from Northumberland County for August 18th to 29th, 2025 as information. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That motion is carried. The next is a resolution from Northumberland County regarding proposed residential units in the county. It's moved by Councillor Butwell, seconded by Councillor McCausland, that council receive the resolution from Northumberland County Council regarding proposed residential units in Northumberland County as information. Is there any discussion? Councillor Wheeldon?
I just want to say I really appreciate having this kind of information. This provides incredible insight into the state of housing in Northumberland and in Brighton. I was surprised to see that we are very near the top of development numbers in Northumberland County.
I wasn't. But it is nice to see it in a report, and I agree. So thank you for that, Councillor Wheeldon. Anything further from members of council? All those in favor? There being none opposed, that motion is carried. Next is a letter from Rotary with regard to the community street dance, with a motion moved by Councillor Wheeldon, seconded by Councillor McCausland, that council received the letter from Rotary Club of Brighton as information. Is there any discussion? Street dance was well attended. It was a fun night. Glad those who came out enjoyed themselves. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion's carried. That brings us to question period. If there's anyone in the gallery or online that has a question with anything that appeared on tonight's agenda, you may. I missed one? I don't have an 18.4. Sorry. I should have been looking at my iPad, not my paper copy. Sorry. The next correspondence is a letter from Brighton Marine Rescue regarding contributions toward Excalibur trailer. And I have a motion moved by Councillor Wheeldon and seconded by Councillor Butwell. The council received the letter from the Brighton Marine Rescue regarding contributions toward the Excalibur trailer. Is there any discussion? Councillor Wheeldon.
In the past, we have had requests from them through grants and aid. We will expect that again this year. Is this just a thank you, not a preamble to a request?
This is a thank you.
Yeah.
for our contribution.
Well,
But no doubt helping keep them top of mind when the next round of grants and aid comes.
successfully so.
Thank you, Councillor Wheeldon. Anything further from members of council? All those in favor? There being none opposed, that motion's carried. Okay, now we'll move to question period. If anyone has a question with anything that appeared on tonight's agenda, I'll ask you to step forward, sir. Question period is an opportunity for members of the public to ask questions about items that appeared on this evening's agenda. Members are asked to state their name for the record before asking their question. A maximum of 5 minutes is set aside for question period. Language, content, and conduct must remain respectful at all times. Questions will be received and answered by the mayor or by a member of council or staff if designated by the mayor. You have the floor.
Thank you. My name's Alex Sabrin. Sorry, can you all hear me okay? Okay.
Alex, what's your last name?
Sabrin, Sabourin.
Thank you.
And apologies, this wasn't really discussed during council, but I heard some comments before. I'm sure this is not the first time folks have, discussed the new speed limit outside of town. I'm sure that's been, discussed a fair bit.
Yep.
I did have a few questions.
So I'm going to stop you there. We only accept questions of items that were on the agenda for clarification purposes. If you have questions about the automated speed enforcement, you could send correspondence to council or come as a delegation at the next meeting.
Okay, so I understand it. This form of asking a question directly, I would have to ask a question via some form.
You would have to request to become a delegation at a council meeting.
Okay.
And the clerk can advise you how to do that after the meeting.
Okay.
Or you go on the website and just click delegation in the search bar and you'll get the form.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, apologies. I know there's a long line behind me.
Thank you. Is there anyone who does have a question with anything that appeared on tonight's agenda? Brings us to our confirmatory bylaw. It's moved by Councillor Rowley, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that council gives a bylaw its first, second, and third reading and finally passes on this date. Being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Corporation of the Municipality of Brighton Council meeting held on September 2nd, 2025. Is there any discussion? Those in favor? Being none opposed, that motion's carried. And finally, a motion moved by Councillor Botwell, seconded by Councillor McCausland, that the September 2nd, 2025 council meeting adjourn at 7:07 p.m. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Being none opposed, that motion's carried. Thank you all very much. Drive safely home and make